The Witch of Withering Wood. Dunmore Village, 1879. The village of Dunmore lay tucked beneath the shadow of Withering Wood, a forest so dense and ancient the trees seemed to whisper secrets to one another. Mothers warned their children never to go near it, especially on All Hallows' Eve. That was the night when the forest remembered. For nearly a century, a curse had lingered. Every year, on the last day of October, a child vanished. Always one. Always without a trace. The villagers spoke the name of the witch, Agatha Vane, in hushed tones never louder than a breath. They said she had been hanged in 1793 and buried in a pit within the woods, but the ground had rejected her. Her spirit still walked the trees, looking for youth to replace the years stolen from her. The skeptic arrives. Thomas Ellery was a schoolteacher from London, modern, skeptical, and impatient with superstition. When his sister died in childbirth, he took guardianship of her 10-year-old son, Oliver, and moved to Dunmore seeking peace and employment. He arrived in early October and was warmly received until he asked about the disappearances. The smiles grew thin. The innkeeper lowered his voice. "You keep that boy indoors on the 31st, he said. "She chooses one each year. The wood gives her what she needs." Thomas scoffed. "There's no such thing as witches." "You'll learn," the innkeeper whispered. We all did. The warning. As the days shortened and leaves turned brittle and red, Thomas noticed strange things. Oliver began sleepwalking. Once, Thomas found him standing at the edge of the trees at midnight, barefoot and murmuring something in a voice too old for his age. "Do you hear her?" Oliver asked when Thomas shook him awake. "Hear who?" "The lady with the silver eyes. She's calling me." Terrified, Thomas nailed the windows shut and kept the boy close. But each night, the pull of the woods grew stronger. He asked the villagers for help, prayers, priests, doctors, but no one would cross the tree line. "She won't take a child from a house that's watched," the innkeeper offered reluctantly. "Stay up. All night. And don't fall asleep. All Hallows' Eve." The fire burned low. Thomas sat with Oliver in his lap, books strewn around him, candles lit in every corner. Midnight passed. 1 o'clock. 2. And then he heard it, a knocking at the door. Not hurried. Not loud. Just patient. Knock. 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 Thomas didn't move. The knock came again. And then from the fireplace, a voice like dry leaves. "Thomas Ellery, give me the child." The flames dimmed. The air turned bitter cold. Oliver's eyes fluttered and he murmured, "She's here." "No," Thomas whispered, holding him tighter. The candles blew out. In the dark, something creaked. Not the door. Not the floorboards. The trees. Into the forest. When Thomas awoke, it was daylight, and Oliver was gone. The front door stood open. Small footprints led to the edge of Withering Wood. He plunged into the trees. The forest swallowed sound. It bent the light. Paths twisted back on themselves. The air stank of rot and cold iron. Then he saw her, a woman in a black cloak gliding between the trunks, her eyes silver bright, her skin like wax. Agatha Vane. She did not speak. She only pointed to a tree whose bark was carved with dozens of names. At its base lay a hollow, and inside, curled like a sleeping fawn, was Oliver. Thomas lunged, but the witch was there in a blink. She held out her hand. In it glowed a shard of obsidian. "Your name," she rasped. "In exchange." The bargain. Thomas hesitated. The obsidian trembled in her hand. If he took it and carved his name, he would be bound. Forever. But Oliver would be free. He snatched it. With shaking fingers he carved, "Thomas Ellery." The bark drank the letters in. Agatha hissed and stepped back. Her form unraveled like smoke. The trees groaned and seemed to sigh. Oliver stirred. "Uncle?" Thomas picked him up and ran, not looking back, not even when he heard the sound of laughter, dry, cold, and triumphant, echoing through the trees. Epilogue. They left Dunmore the next day. The villagers watched silently, relieved. Oliver would grow up and never remember the forest's call. But every All Hallows' Eve, in a hidden glade deep in Withering Wood, the tree still waits, its bark carved with names old and new. At the very bottom, fresh and bleeding red, is carved, "Thomas Ellery." And beneath that, space enough for another.